All right for me, I suppose, because the kids are out.
I see now. Mine's in. The wife's upstairs in bed. Also depends on what she's got on upstairs as well. There we go. So hopefully we should be where we need to be. Yeah, Twitter's up and going. Facebook, I think he's probably up and going. Because Keith would have shouted at me before now, ain't?
Yeah, it's fine, Dave.
And YouTube should be.
Oi.
Yeah.
I've just got a new little kitten and she's getting braved by the dogs. So if you hear the dogs yapping, it's because she's getting braved. Stop it.
Don't worry, we've had it before. I've got literally what I'd class as a full-size greyhound, and we had the manager from Waltham Abbey on, and he decided that the manager from Waltham Abbey, Michael, wasn't paying him any attention, and he's the biggest dope of a dog ever, and he just decided to jump up and scare the living daylights out of the manager from Waltham Abbey. Right, just posting it out there, and then I shall be with you.
Been had enough already.
Well, welcome to the D&K Reposs Non League show. Me and Keith, we're here for the next couple of hours. We've got a couple of more guests that will join us very shortly from Stratford as well, Stratford Town. Of course, big FA Cup day for them yesterday. But we'll introduce people as I can see people on my screen. But we'll start top left as normal with the legend, Mr. Keith McMahon. And how are we, sir?
Yeah, I'm all right, Dave. Yourself?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. He looks like he's calmed down a little bit from yesterday. I'll give you a tip. Have a look at his interview after the game yesterday. It was a cracker. It was one of the best. And then to my right, of course, is the manager from Evesham Town as well, which in Lee. And welcome, Lee.
Thank you, mate. Good to see you.
And you, mate. Bottom right, as I'm looking, is Luke, the manager from Ashford Town, Middlesex. Welcome, Lee.
Hey, you're right.
In the middle is the interim manager of Bromsgrove, and that's Gavin. Welcome, Gavin.
All right, guys.
And the secretary to the left of Bromsgrove, Mr. Dave Stevens. So welcome, Dave.
Yeah, good to be here. Thank you.
So, Keith, good weekend for you? Not good weekend for you?
Nah, Dave, not good Saturday. Bit disappointed. I thought we was in charge over at Chitchat. Not possession wise, but they didn't have a shot on goal until the 73rd minute, which to be fair was a brilliant free kick. But I just thought we was a little bit soft in the second half, and as you see, not maybe the best time to stick a camera under my nose just after I've come out the changing room. But it's what I've missed. Obviously, a bit of passion. My mum said, "Oh, glad to see that back." But no, obviously still a work in progress. We knew it was going to take a bit of time for me over there, and everyone does. But I just need to sort things out now pretty quick. But yeah, no, kids had a good game yesterday. Had a great game. So that was fished off to be a bonus watching them.
Happy days. Well, if you haven't seen it, it just shows you a real passionate manager in a real passionate situation. It was a great watch. So, gonna have a look at it. So what we normally do, guys, when we start this show is we normally just go around, we just have a chat about general stuff, and we chat to you about your own clubs, etc., which we'll do in a minute. But I'm trying to bring in a little bit of a new feature, and so this is going to be called "Do You Know What Went On at the Weekend?" All right. So it's going to be quite easy. I've got some questions on here, so it'd be quite interesting to see some of your answers on some of this. And don't worry, I'm writing down scores as well on a bit of paper, a nice bit of. It's going to be fun. Just a little bit of fun to start with. So
and a busy week, Dave. Yeah.
So mate.
And a busy week, have you?
Yeah, I've had a busy week. Yeah. So for me, this is what we're going to start with. Basically, what we're going to start off with is trying for you guys to tell me how many people turned up at different games in the Southern League this week, Isthmian League this week, and the FA Cup. But the first question I've got for everybody was there was an interesting incident happen, and I think it was on Friday evening. It made a lot of coverage on Twitter over the weekend. It was on, I think it's gone on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. It's been on the TV I've seen as well. So there was a game being played between #United Reserves and another side. So the question is, who was the other side? What actually happened in the game? And where was it played? Does anybody know?
Well, it was played at #, wasn't it?
No.
Oh, okay.
It was played elsewhere.
Yeah, the incident was a firework.
It was. So if you've not,
Go on, Dave.
it was. It was a firework that somebody let off from an adjoining house.
Yeah.
And it bounced onto the pitch and nearly took out one of their players. And it was quite a scary incident when you actually see it. And it was played at Bowers and Pitsea.
Oh, right. Okay.
Because # haven't got a ground. That's where they play.
Which I did say.
You did. And who were they playing?
Saw it.
Not a clue.
Was it? I tell you what, it wasn't. I don't know if it wasn't one of the fire service or something like that, was it?
No. It was a club that just recently were runners up in the FA Trophy.
Oh,
God.
not Warrington. Who did Hornchurch just beat?
And another clue is that.
Oh, of course, it was.
The keep it to yourself for a minute, Keith. The ex-manager of that side who took them to the FA Trophy has just been announced as the new manager of Averley Football Club.
Yeah. Well.
Oh, Concord Rangers.
Concord Rangers. It was against Concord Rangers, and to be honest with you, the lad from # was quite lucky that it didn't get a lot more. I think a little bit closer. He could have been in all kinds of trouble because it.
I tell you what, Dave, and also Bowers are lucky because the same thing happened a few years ago at Sevenoaks on their 3G, and if Mickey Cons or our sponsors watching, it set fire to the 3G.
And I saw that today. Yeah, someone said today they didn't know if there's been any damage to the pitch, how severe the pitch might be with the 3G surface, but it was definitely interesting to see how they go. So then, we'll start seeing who can get this the closest to these then. So we'll start off. We'll only do a few, and then we'll get into your clubs. But one of the games that was an interesting game on the telly. I think it was on the telly anyway. At least I think it was Friday evening. AFC Sudbury versus Colchester United in the FA Cup. How many was in that ground? We'll start off with an easy one. So we'll start off with the bottom with Luke. How many do you reckon, Luke?
1,500.
1,500. Lee?
2,000.
2,000. Gabby?
I'm going to go with 2,400.
Dave?
Drop it a little bit. 2,200.
Keith?
I know the answer because I watched the game. and Lee's got it right. It's 2,000. Dead. They sold out.
2,000 full house ground there. What about What about my dad's favourite club and love of his life? Leyton Orient against Ebbsfleet United.
1-0, wasn't it?
1-0 to Leyton Orient. And but how many was in the ground? Should we start off with Keith first this time?
Dave, where was it? Was it at Ebbsfleet?
No, it was at Leyton Orient.
I'm going to go Leyton Orient, 4,350.
Dave?
4106.
4106.
Yeah.
Gavin?
That's where that came from, but
About 3,500.
Okay. Luke
I'd have said about 3,100.
and Lee. One of them, Lee, before you say one person is quite close.
Yeah, I just said about 4,000.
Well, Gavin was the one that was quite close because it was 3,451 at there. So let's go. This as you most.
I'll take the points for that then. Have I got the point for that?
Yeah, you get a point for that. We'll give you the point for that. You're the closest. So Southern League games at the weekend. What about Division 1 Central? Kidlington against Harlow Town. And I was quite surprised at how many were there, if I'm honest. But
I see this the other day. I see it on Twitter.
Lee?
Well, I'm guessing there was a few there, was there? God, Kidlington, that's not a great game. I'll be honest.
And let's be honest, Kidlington, and the clue in it, I suppose, is that Kidlington and Harlow are quite a distance away.
Yeah. Is it? It can't be. 47.
47. Luke?
I'd have said that, but there's no point going for the same, so I'll go 90.
90. Gabby?
Go brave, Gavin. Say 300 or something stupid.
I was going to go a little bit higher. How you?
No
I'm
chance.
going to go about.
They won't have that over 3 games.
About 221 people.
Yeah, I like that, Gav. Good from you. Good.
Dave?
no, it'd be less than 100. So 72.
Keith?
140. Knowing the Harlow, massive.
Now I'll tell you.
Okay.
Now I'll tell you that Harlow took a coach.
What? With the manager, you mean?
Yeah. This was why I was quite surprised. Harlow took a coach, so I think it was about 50 odd people from Harlow went, but the crowd was still only 108. So I'm not sure who was the closest there. Was it
90 Gav, wasn't it?
I think I was, wasn't I?
90?
Gav said 90,
I went
didn't he?
90, mate. I went
Okay.
95. I'll take that.
We'll take that again. What about Tony Gowles, Walton Casuals? Walton Casuals 2, Paul Town 4.
I'm meant to be seeing him Friday.
Oh, blimey.
He's actually at Harlow on Friday, Saturday.
Pardon?
He's at Harlow Saturday with Trevor Bookin and Alan
Yeah,
Kirbishley.
he's at Dagenham and Redbridge on Saturday, Friday. I know Walton's crowds, so I'll go last.
Oh, okay. Go on then. Luke, we'll let you go first.
I'm quite friends with Walton Casual, so I know exactly what it is because I talk to them all the time. So I'd be cheating.
Now, go on. If you think you know what it is, go for
It'll
it.
be about, I believe it was about 305 or something. It was just over 300 there.
So 305. Gavin?
I'm going to go 306 then.
Oh, go on, Gav.
Yes.
Lee?
I'm going to go 304.
Oh, what's going on here?
Dave?
I'm going to go slightly low. I'll go 295.
Keith?
260.
Emily?
260.
So you should have gone 307 because Gavin's right again. It was 318.
I know.
Oh.
I was waiting for you to go higher, but you didn't.
Oh, I didn't expect it, that's why.
What about, make sure we got one in here. this could be a bit of a swerve. Bury Town in the Isthmian North Division. So Bury Town 2, Romford, not a big following at all, really. 1. But the clue will be Bury Town are normally the highest attendance in that North Division on a regular basis. But of course, Romford don't take many. So we'll go Gavin first this time.
I think it's going to be. I haven't got a clue. I'm going to guess 390 people.
390?
Yeah.
Lee? I think Luke's looking at the paper. Look.
I am. I can't read, so you're all right.
How many, Lee?
420.
420?
I'm going with a Bury massive here.
Yeah.
Go on,
I was thinking.
What do we reckon? Lee?
420.
Oh, sorry, not Lee. Sorry, Luke. Sorry, I'm sorry, Luke.
Yeah.
Sorry,
375.
375. Dave?
355.
Keith?
Well, I know Bury, so I'm going between 450 to 500 because that's what they normally get.
Go on then. Which one?
480, just below 500.
You should have stuck with the 450. It was 458.
Oh, was it? Oh, well, I ain't far off.
Yeah, you still beat me.
They've been getting close to 500, so Dave, didn't they?
Yeah.
They do get a good gate. Well, at least it's someone I know anyway.
This is where we'll see how much you guys were paying attention with these last few. Okay. Chichester City versus Winstable Town.
You get.
Keith, do you want to go first?
Yeah, because I've looked round the ground. Trouble is, where the dugout is, Dave, like they all sort of congregate there. And when you look across the stand, I didn't think there were many there, and we didn't take a supporters coach. So I'm going 175.
175 says the manager from Winstable Town. Lee?
Okay, now. 190.
190. Luke?
It's possible.
150.
150. Gavin?
132.
132. Dave?
170.
Well, one of you is extremely close.
Gav again.
But unfortunately, it's not the manager of Winstable Town.
I wasn't far off.
It's 155.
I was 20 away. Yeah, but listen, you missed you missed the 10 each from the committee that I counted.
Okay. So as long as Luke's not looking at his phone.
He's looking.
Oh, I'm definitely cheating.
Right. So Ashford Town against.
I already know what mine is, so that's not because I'm cheating. I already know.
Keep quiet then. So Ashford Town versus Tooting and Mitcham. What do we reckon?
Tooting bring a few. They used to. I'll far away. I'll look at Ashford because I sort of their gates.
No, I'll help you out here. I'll qualify this. Ashford have got a really bad manager that has taken them to 5 defeats in a row before this game. Well done, me. And Tooting haven't been none too clever either. So
right.
Qualify this, my friend. Qualify this.
Okay. I was just looking at Twitter just to see if there's any news coming out of Ashford after you've just said that. It's been one of them weeks. All right, then. But Tooting's normally have big crowds at home, so I'm going to go.
It was at ours.
135 then.
Okay.
Gavin?
I'm going to go with 180.
Dave?
Gone darts.
No idea, but 120.
Luke, do you want to put Matt in their misery and tell them how many there was?
Hey, we were getting 200-300 about a month ago. We had about 75 there on Saturday, was it? Something like that.
Absolutely not right. 74.
74. There you go. Yeah, I was counting myself.
Okay, so Lee, was you paying attention?
Yeah,
You were paying attention.
I know it to the nearest one, mate.
Okay, so then we'll leave you out of this one. And Evesham United versus AFC Totten, it was 3-3. So, Luke.
Oh, I remember them.
150.
Look at the disgust on Lee's face there when you just said 150. Gavin?
It's got to be over 200 there. I reckon about 215.
215.
Yeah.
Okay. Dave?
245.
Keith?
225.
Very close, both of you. The last one, 200 and how many was it, Lee?
237.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
8 out.
Now I'm just trying to find.
Nuneaton. Are you looking for?
Yeah, I know I am. I'm looking for them, but they disappeared off me non-league paper. There we go. Then.
Yeah.
So then, do you know what the gate was at yours though, guys?
I do.
Okay. Gavin, do you know?
No.
As a good secretary, I'm glad he does. Nuneaton Town.
Yeah.
Oh, no, sorry, Nuneaton Borough.
Borough.
Town. Nuneaton Borough 1, Bromsgrove Sporting 1. Keith.
Both clubs have got good support. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. Yeah, oh, you're playing well though. I'm going to go, if after Dave said that, I will go 680. And you
Gavin?
can see I'm not looking at a paper.
Did you say Gavin?
Yep.
No.
I think I honestly don't know how many were there, but I'm thinking at least it's got to be up close to 900. Say 890.
Luke.
Oh, well, Gav was there, so I'm going to go with him and I'll go 895.
Our fans were loud though, so probably.
Make it 900 then. Make it 900.
I'm just looking at someone's face when these numbers have been panning about. It's quite funny. Lee?
$9.50.
Blimey.
Dave, do you want to put them out of their misery?
Yeah, I know they made a lot of noise, but they weren't that noisy. 607.
No
Dave,
way.
Gavin,
how many did you
Gav,
just
what have you done, mate?
607 was the answer.
It was more than that, Dave.
Gav,
That's not
Yeah,
it.
but they
I'll tell you
tax,
now.
mate. That's a tax bill, Mr. Stevens, very clearly.
Oh, yeah.
I hasten to say it wasn't at Bromsgrove.
Yeah, no. It was at Nuneaton.
So here's the question for you. Out of all the games that were played in the league, this is the last question and we'll go on to your clubs. But out of all the games that were played at the weekend in the league basis, so in the Southern League and the Isthmian League, which game had the biggest crowd? Or what club had the biggest crowd? So I'll give you the teams that are at home as I'll go through this. So
Do you mean obviously the Prem, yeah?
The Prem, yeah, I was going to say that.
across those divisions, it's going to be Prem, I would have thought, out of the games. But
Well, you don't know. Sometimes if you had Hastings, you might not.
well, let's have a look. Bishop Stortford, Bognor Regis, Carshalton, Cheshunt, Corinthian Casuals, East Thurrock, Haringey Borough. Then you had Barwell, Biggleswade, Colville Town, Hensford Town, Leiston, Lowestoft, Needham Market, Nuneaton Borough, Rushall Olympic, Chesham United, Farnborough, Gosport, Merthyr, Salisbury, Swindon Supermarine. You had Walton Casuals, Wimborne, Bedford, Berkhamsted, Colney Heath, Didcot, Hertford Town, Kempston, Kidlington, Tame, Waltham Abbey, Bindford, Bristol Manor Farm, Evesham United, Highworth Town, Leamington Town, Maggotsfield United, Melsham Town, Plymouth Sholin, and then in the they had also Hornchurch, Worthing, Averley, Brentwood, Bury, Haybridge, Holbridge, Stowmarket, Tilbury, Ashford, Bedford, Bracknell, Chertsey, Guernsey, Hamiltown, Staines, Sutton Common, Uxbridge, Ashford United, Burgesshill Town, Chichester, Corinthian, East Grinstead, Faversham, Herne Bay, Phoenix, and Sittingbourne.
Well, I think we know that it ain't Chichester, don't we? Because we've already asked that one.
Yeah, I was going to say.
And it ain't Kidlington either.
No.
That definitely wasn't Kidlington, I can tell you that.
You would think, Dave, it's going to be.
It's got to be
one
somewhere
of
in the Prem, hasn't it?
In the
Yeah.
Prem, and yeah. I could only look at the Eastman League, but saying that, like I said, Hastings had 1,300, but they weren't at home the other week, and they had 800 against us. So on Tuesday night, and they're in our division. But the only one I would go in the Eastman Prem, because I know that more would be Worthing. They would mostly add, and they're at the top. They would add 4 figures. If anyone else's league can beat 4 figures, which they mostly will do.
Not this week, I don't think.
No, I don't think the Southern Prem would beat that.
No.
I was going to go Worthing as well, to be honest.
It was Worthing, 1,104. So who had the lowest crowd?
Us, no.
No.
Sutton Common Rovers.
Who, sorry?
Sutton Common Rovers.
Don't know. What? I don't know.
It was Sutton Common Rovers, 47
Oh, well done.
at their ground. So
someone's definitely got a paper. You don't just pull Common Rovers out, do you? For the lowest crowd.
No, it was mentioned the other day. We were looking through it because they play at Sutton United, and we were like, they had a very low crowd. We thought we were bad. Thought I'd scared everyone off, but they've managed to outdo us.
yeah, Guernsey had big figures. I mean, teams with big figures. Guernsey had 754. Burgess Hill had 328, and that's not massive, but they're in a lower division. Bracknell Town.
Melksham normally have a few.
Yeah, 547.
Yeah.
Bury 458, as we said. Where else did we see? Bedford at 367.
Yeah, Ashford United had 400, Dave. I spoke to Tom today or yesterday, so I know that.
Yeah,
we normally have 400.
Yeah. Salisbury had 425. Merthyr 430. Gosport had 502. Chesham 438. We said Nuneaton 607. Hensford 581. And Barwell got 504. Bognor 916.
Yeah, Bognor do. Yeah, they were next to us. We had the other 100 and saying stopping again, getting 1,000.
And the big game of the weekend in that division, which I was quite surprised in a way, or one of the big games, only got 247, which was Chestnut versus Folkestone and Victor.
Yeah, Chestnut only get about that though, Dave, didn't they? But just going back to what I said the other week when I went over to watch Hastings, obviously now looking for a manager, they played Ashford United and there was 1,303 for our level. So that just goes what a big club, I mean, what a big job that is for someone when it comes up in the next week or so.
That's step forward as well, isn't it? So
yeah.
That was Barwell's first home game of the season, by the way.
Oh, was it? There we go. Tamworth, and they lost 0-1 last minute goal. 18.
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah,
unbelievable.
They just had a 3G put down, so that's why they've not played at home.
All right, yeah, same as in the Eastman with Hertford Town as well. They've just literally had one put in as well. Shall we start off with Lee tonight and start off with Evesham and tell us about how this sort of came about? I know if it's a sticky subject, then you can leave that and just tell us about the club. I don't want to cause you any grief, but
I want to know. Get it out
be careful here, aren't I?
I don't want to cause you any issues or anything like that whatsoever. But you came from one club to Evesham.
Yeah, Slimbridge.
Right.
Yeah, so same league. So I was just invited really for an interview, to be honest. And it just sort of went from there. I had to have a bit of a think about it, to be honest. So I've been at Slimbridge for about 4 years now, 4.5 years. So just got an interview and sort of decided after a week or two to just go for it, really.
Yeah. So we'll come back to 2 seconds. Just to let everybody know, gentleman has just joined us. Of course, he's the Stratford manager. Everybody should know him now. He's got that really famous face after yesterday. Of course, Paul Davis, the FA Cup man from yesterday, sort of a non-league hero now because he was on the TV and all the rest of it. But good game yesterday, Paul.
Up to a point. I thought we held our own for 55 minutes. Even when they scored the second goal, we went down the other end and had another chance. So it was disappointing 8 minutes to concede 3 goals. But when you play a professional football club, that's what happens.
But some absolute pearlers, though, weren't they?
Yeah, I was just having a conversation with my goalkeeper actually before I came on. I thought he might have been able to do a bit better, but that's expectations of where we're at. But yeah, they scored some good goals. We talked about not giving them goals. We were disappointed with the first 2, but the third and the fourth goal were, you'd see them on Match of the Day and talk about them for the rest of the week, wouldn't you?
I mean, there was. If anybody hasn't seen them and you get to see the highlights, they were, you know, they were goals that I don't think your keeper had much of a chance with. To be perfectly honest with you, they were top draw. I must admit, they were incredible. But Paul, we'll come back to you in a bit. We'll just go back to Lee. But I mean, so Lee, talk to us a little bit about you know, what made you in the end think to yourself, well, this is the club for me.
It's just a bigger club, really. It's set up probably for, it can go a league or 2 higher, really. So the progression's there, couple of little tweaks to be made. And they've had a couple of managers over the last year or 2. So touch wood, we can try and do that. It's just quite a big club, really. It's obviously a town. Everything's set in stone for it to be probably a league or 2 above. So with the right work this year, I think, to progress a little bit and just get us up the table and definitely have a proper push next year, I think, for promotion. Not saying we can't do that this year, but we're sort of just in and around sort of mid-table at the moment. So it'll take a really good run, which is always on in football with momentum and stuff. And at the moment, actually, the club's in a good state over the past 3 games. They've won a couple, and we had a good draw with second in the table on Saturday. So get a bit of momentum, you never know. But it's just the size and stature of the club, really, mate.
So I mean, sitting there just above your previous club as well in the table. I mean,
Excuse me.
Have you got to go to them as well?
Yeah. I've got to go there. Yeah, that's going to be interesting. Yeah.
So listen, I don't know if you've watched the show before, but Dave asked the nice questions, and I asked the questions that everyone wants to know. So I know he said about, obviously, you know, what made it different. But for people listening out there, because I went to a club the other week that are looking for a new manager, and they said that, you know, they had 4 or 5 applicants for managers that are in their league already, which I found hard to think about, to be fair, because it's something that personally I wouldn't do if I was employed by a club. But you obviously mentioned, and I don't know if there's any legal thing why you can't say, and you've sort of said you've gone there because obviously it's a bigger club. But you know, when you sort of, what did your old club say to you when they found out?
Yeah, just on that, mate, just regarding, I totally agree. So the reason basically they come to me was because they knew I wouldn't apply. So I wouldn't have applied being at another club in that league. There's no way I would have applied for the job. But I know some of the guys there, and they seen something in me that they sort of wanted, so they approached me. And on top of that, the worst thing was obviously telling my own club just regarding what had happened, because it's been a long process. At the club where I was, they basically for sort of 4 or 5 years ago just found themselves in the bottom 2 or 3 of the Southern Div 1, just struggling along, and we managed to set up an under-18s in the Floodlit League, set up a reserve side, and then obviously progressed the first. You know, they were sitting 7th last year at COVID, and we was mid-table the season before. So, like I said, just to answer that question, mate, I wouldn't have. I'll be honest with you, I wouldn't have applied. They approached me, and it took a bit of time. But then to answer your other question would be, I went to Slimbridge straight away as soon as they officially sort of gave me the job and told them I needed a bit of time to see the right people and let them know what my feelings were and what I was doing. And yeah, I sort of had a meeting with the mainstay of the committee, which was emotional. I won't lie to you. It was tough, but the best thing about it was they wished me well, which was great from my point of view. So I could actually sleep Thursday night. So yeah, that's the answers to those two questions, mate. Really.
Yeah, and obviously I can understand. You know, I just wanted to clear it up because there's people maybe sitting there thinking, "Oh, you've done a Moody," and like when you said you didn't want to take. Sometimes it's good just to actually tell your side of the story how it actually happened.
Oh yeah.
But looking at your league as well, and you said about obviously Evesham being a bigger club. There are some big clubs in that league, aren't they?
Oh yeah.
Now, and even when you look at the top, obviously Froome that we know, Dave, the two lads that obviously are doing the fundraising that didn't come back to me, by the way, but never mind. Obviously they got massive crowds. You've got now I'm at Winstable, got big following. So so obviously you've got Totten, which I know really well, Seven Sister. Obviously you've got Winchester City that are big clubs, and even when you look lower down with Cinderford as well. So there's quite a few big clubs in your league, aren't there?
Yeah, there's a few. Yeah. I probably add sort of Siren into that. They're good this year. They're really good side, Siren. I'd probably say if you probably finish above them in your Froome and even probably Tottenham, I'd probably say they'll probably be top 3, top 4, definitely those sides. But like I just said regarding Melchamstown, they're a big club. They have 3, 4, 500. They've obviously had that new stand for a while now. They got a lovely pitch, lovely setup, got some good backers there. So yeah, you're right regarding there is a lot in. I'd probably push us into that category, but they obviously probably haven't been as good this year, but everything's there to be set up now. I ain't saying I'm going in there, I'm going to take a load of players and we're going to finish in the playoffs, because it's more the plan over probably 5 years regarding, trying to push up because of it's like anything really. I think if we get a couple of results, and he was talking about crowds, if we can get a few results, then I'd like to think we can get 350, it's all about momentum really in and around sort of next year regarding the playoffs, because a lot of the times you'll find that the team finishing second and third probably don't necessarily win the playoffs. It's the 4th or 5th team, but it's the stature of the club really. When you go there and you see and you walk around and you meet the committee and you meet the members and the supporters trust. Like last week they went to Biddeford all the way down to Devon and they took 70 supporters, and you're like, that's just brilliant to hear,
that's one of Dave's questions in the second half of the show.
Yeah, about the supporters.
Just saying that, though, you mentioned your old club that were very small. You just sorted out the under-18s. Just tell people that don't know what sort of size club, obviously Evesham are and what they got, and the sort of following that they've actually got.
Yeah, they're sort of just regarding the structure. They've just started an academy now, so they've obviously got a development side as well. I think they've got a stack of youth sides. They've just recently, sort of last year, built a new 3G pitch. So obviously training, you basically can train when you want, sort of thing. And there's some good links regarding other clubs as well. So they're looking to push on really. They really are regarding the structure and the youth setup, the reserves, and then obviously now the academy started up, which I'm just sort of getting to terms with really, and just getting regarding talking about all that in that structure, and then sort of guys in charge of all that, looking after that, and then me sort of tending to concentrate on the first team really to get them where they should be probably. Yeah.
Did you take any of your staff with you?
I haven't. No, I haven't. No. Like I said, going in there, it was the coach I knew ahead anyway. He's a very good coach. Like I said, the way they're going to do things regarding sort of someone overseeing the football side of it, so I can concentrate on the first team and sort of just govern that. It's all pretty well set because I know a couple of people that the changeover should be all right, you know. And now it'd be a case of, because I just started Saturday meeting the players, and it won't be till tomorrow when we have our first training session that I'll properly take it really and put me stamp on a few things here and there, just little things. There won't be too much change. No staff wise, maybe one or two players, but I won't oversee it. I ain't the guy who's just going to bring 4 or 5 new lads and chip 4 or 5 out. We've got some games coming up, and like I said, they're on a good run at the moment, so hopefully it'll continue. You know, touch wood.
So what there was one of the clubs in your league, and I've got to ask the question: is it intimidating going to Bristol Manor Farm?
I know what you've seen.
Yeah, we talked about it the other week.
Yeah, it's.
And you don't have to answer that question. It just.
Yeah, I've got to be careful here, haven't I?
It's just one of those things. You know, is
it? For me personally,
say no.
Yeah, no. For me personally, I love places like that. But you know, I gotta be. I gotta be careful what I say here.
You're going to be safe as houses. You're not a referee.
Yeah, I know. That's what I mean. Yeah.
Unless you come in fancy dress.
Yeah, I don't. I certainly don't condone that. And if I was to ever do anything like that, I'd like to think I wouldn't be in the job. But that's me. You know. I thought it was disgraceful, to be fair, as probably did many people. But yeah, that's their problem, not my problem. I'll just be looking to get 6 points against them this year. But they're another side, another good side with a good budget. So they're probably another side really who have maybe slightly underachieved over the past 2 or 3 years. Obviously with COVID and stuff, but even probably before that, they've always had a good budget in what have you. So I'm waiting for them to really kick into gear and have a proper push, really, because they got some good players. They have.
Other than sort of 2 or 3 of the bottom teams, Barnstable and Maggotsfield, and for Binford.
Yeah,
a lot of goals going around there, isn't there? I mean,
there's a lot of goals. Yeah,
it's the Division 1 South attack. Because if someone was actually looking at it from just from the non-league paper, I mean, you've got Cinderford down in 17th, scored 26 and conceded 34.
Yeah,
it's incredible when you look up.
It tends to go a little bit like that, and that's why the teams I've said, they've got the best defences. So it is a style of football I do like, but probably sort of with the way we're going to be, you've got to be a little bit more solid now. That they're always going to be the best teams, like I said. Siren and probably Froome, I'd say.
Yeah, I mean, look at it. Going back to Bristol Manor Farm, they're sitting 3rd, and they've scored 24, conceded 22.
Yeah,
it's just
But
goals.
So what? But what if Froome and Siren conceded?
Yeah, I mean, Froome has scored 31, conceded 9.
See, yeah, yeah, they're just a good all-round side. They probably got the best player in the league there, and they've got a strong defence. But like Siren is having the best players. Yes, it is, but their work ethic is unbelievable.
4-7 for them.
Yeah, oh yeah, they don't stop. I played Siren, I played Froome, even sort of last year. Done that in definitely this year. I've seen a little bit more in Siren to sort of say they're here for the long run, really, just because of their worth ethic. That's how Bruffy works, really. John Bruff's their gaffer. He expects nothing more than that. He's proper onto them regarding that worth ethic. And likewise with Froome, really, to the reasons they'll probably be up there definitely.
So you got Is that how you say it? Maggotsfield? Is that how you say it?
Mangotsfield, yeah, Mangotsfield next Tuesday, yeah.
You see that as your next game?
Which will be my first game, really, yeah. Which is a week tomorrow, at their place. Which will be those teams. Probably Barnstable have had a tough go because they've lost basically all their players, and they lost the manager and the chairman this year. So they've had a big turnaround, and they've struggled the last few years in that league, and haven't gone down because the league hasn't relegated anyone, because the odd teams either pulled out or gone sideways, which has kept them in the league really. But they're basically probably an under-21s really now.
I mean, that's a great first home game for you, though, isn't it?
Which one?
As your luck, first home game, Frome Town.
Yeah, can't wait. Yeah, we've got after Mangotsfield, we got quite a tough. We got Larkhill away as well, who are a good, big, strong side. I think we got Frome and Sholing. Is it? Sholin's the other one in there.
You got the Mangotsfield, Sholing, Frome at home. Is it Merksham Town?
Melksham, yeah.
And then Barnstable Town, then Cirencester, and then Cinderford at home. So in your first three games, you know the two teams that you actually mentioned about being two of the best ones in there, you've got them both at home in the next three home games. So
yeah. That's it's what you want to be up against, isn't it? Really, let's see where we're at. Let's see how we do, and we'll sort of take it from there.
Do you know where you are on the 8th of January?
Say again?
8th of January. Do you know where you're going?
Yeah, I do now. That's good. That's Slimbridge, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
That should be a good game.
Yeah. It'd be good to go back, because they know, and Evesham know, I've got friends there. Like it wasn't a case of just being a manager or just having a chairman or just having a secretary. We were friends, like, so. Things happen in football.
I like the way you just said we were.
Say again?
I like the way you said we were friends.
Oh, yeah. That didn't come out great, did it? But yeah. It's going to be difficult, but yeah.
If managers do swap clubs like that are in quite close proximity,
yeah.
Do you get a lot of grief, guys, from the team that you was at before? I mean, do you get a lot of stuff from like social media wise where you're getting a bit of
not really. I've seen one or two little bits, but it was more. I was more flattered in the well wishes I got, to be fair, mate. And obviously, just for you to get me on here, I suppose, isn't it? It shows I'm doing something okay.
I think, Dave. I think it depends, Dave, on how you've left. You've left because obviously someone's approached you and it's a bigger club. Fine. If you've done a Moody and applied, and then and also if you've gone to your rivals, sometimes the fans sort of don't like that either. So, but yeah, I think you'll get stick to it no matter where you go anyway.
And we've had, Lee, trust me, we've had managers when we used to do this face to face, sitting in the same room as us, telling us that they haven't applied for another job when we fully well know they did. Do you know what I mean? So trust me, it's no issues with us whatsoever.
Yeah, that's not for me. I'm quite an honest guy, to be fair. Like I said, left on good terms from the main people at Slimbridge, which made me feel real good, which was good and pleasing.
We'll wish you all the best with that. But we'll move down a little bit to Luke, and
thank you, mate.
He's just swap over leagues just for a quick in, and we'll move back into the Southern again. But we're going back into the Isthmian League. And Luke, I mean, how's it going down at Ashford?
Well, we've been a bit of a struggle the last month or so, to be honest, mate. We won on Saturday against Totten Mitcham. It was excellent. But it's been probably the hardest 6-7 weeks I've ever had in football as a manager, coach, player, anything. It's been very difficult. And yes, it was brilliant to get 3 points on Saturday. I think it's deserved from a lot of the stuff that we've been through. And so talk about chairman, and now I'm very lucky I've got the chairman that I've got. I've got an unbelievable chairman who I love to bits, and it's lucky we're as close as we are and whatnot. And hopefully things will change now.
And I mean, your next game up again couldn't be much harder. You go to Bracknell Town, so I mean that's going to be a bit of a tough.
Yeah, they'll be tough. The last 6 games we've had against bar 2 against the top 6 teams, so it has been a bit of a difficult run and whatnot. But as I said, we had a lot of injuries now. Light at the end of the tunnel now, and we should be able to kick back on now. I said Bracknell were really good. Bobby Wilkinson's a superb manager. He's got a fantastic squad. But at the end of the day, they're at step 4, same as we are. There's always a way to win a football match, and I genuinely believe every game we go into, we've got a chance. So yeah, we'll be all right.
Look, let's just go back to when you were saying earlier about obviously you going through this, when you was going through this tough run of sort of 5 defeats. What do you say to the players? What do you say to your own management team and to get you through it?
Well, really, I think what we had to do is actually more than 5, because there's FA Trophy in there as well. It was 6, and we won a county cup game in that, but we also lost another cup game in that as well. So really, it was about 7. And even before that, although we'd won a couple of games, we were well off of it. And I thought what we had to do as a group is we had to explore where this had all started, why it was happening, and where we are, why we are where we are. And I think until we came to terms with that, really nothing that you said would have really meant anything, because everything has a root cause. Otherwise, it's like saying, oh, you've got a rash, or just something, and it'll get better. You have to look at the root cause of how everything started. And effectively, as I said, this is my first real proper manager's job, I guess. I was number 2 for years. We had a lot of success, won 3 leagues somehow as a number 2 and as a head coach, and had a lot of success. And I got a manager's job at step 5, and we'd have won that league. We were second with 3 games in hand when COVID hit. And then last year at Ashford, again, we're second in the league a week before COVID hits, in the playoffs in step 4. And it's like, we've never known anything but success. And that's not attributing that to myself. I'm attributing that to the group I've got around me. Great management group, great set of players. And I'm very lucky to be surrounded by the people I'm surrounded by. Ultimately, in the what we've had a lot of success by being quite a tight-knit group. And what happened in the summer was I relied on that group staying together, and I thought we would. And here's where I've shown a lot of naivety myself, where our stock is quite high because we have had a lot of success over the last 2 years, and I turned them all down. Simple as that. I thought I've got what I've got. Here we are. And then guess what happened in pre-season? First time it's ever happened. They all went, basically. I had 2 retired, 1 moved up north, 3 left clubs. 1 said, if you don't put me centre mid, I'm going to leave. Well, you can't promise you that. We've can't promise that I'm going. 1 out of the blue said he's going to go and play step 3. A week earlier, he'd literally said he's never going to play for another manager in his life. A week earlier. A week later, he's gone. See you, mate. And I'm just like, he's a good friend of mine as well. And all of a sudden, I've gone from a tight-knit squad of 14 or 15. I've got 7 players left. I'm like, oh, my God, what am I going to do now? So I'm now rushing through pre-season trying to get a team together. All the players that we could have had have now gone elsewhere. And now I'm getting players through the door that I'm very lucky to have got and whatnot. But they're players that weren't necessarily for the shape we played or whatnot. We're getting what we're given rather than going and effectively adding to the group we've got. And that's never a good thing. So you've got half a team that play one way, half a team that aren't necessarily suit to that style or whatnot. And then you've got to try and get something together. And we still thought we were going to do okay. And I'm not one that likes to harp on about luck and things like that, because I think you reap what you sow, and I reap what I sow because I recruited really, really badly in the summer, and it's on me. I'll never ever do that again. There's my first real manager's job. What a lesson that is, by the way. But from that moment on, everything that could go wrong went wrong. First game of the season, COVID goes through the squads. Goalkeeper and a few other, like 7 out first game of the season. I end up with a centre half in goal, and I've got youngsters at centre half and stuff. And a game that we're the only team they've beaten all year, and that kills your momentum. First game of the season, a game you're expected to win. Then we go into our next league game. 24 hours of the game, my goalkeeper's appendix ruptures, and God bless, he survived and he's alive and he's well and he's playing again now. But he now was an emergency operation, and the lad that came in did a superb job for us. 17 years old, obviously very different. And also, where I'd lost so many of my player group, one of the two of the ones that remained said, look, we're going to stay. I want to be here, but because of COVID, family now comes first, or this comes first, and that comes first. And usually I wouldn't have had it. It's you're in or you're not in. But where I'd lost so many players, I felt I had to kind of go with it, and I didn't want to lose any more of the group. But all that did was cause even more problems. And I've now got a threadbare squad. I've got people in and out. I've now got injuries. I've now got like appendixes rupturing and all sorts. And it's spurting downhill. And we actually had a really good FA Cup run. We got through 3 rounds. The reason we got through 3 rounds is because everyone was available for that. But in the other games in league, people weren't available. I've got kids going out. I've got some people going on holiday and things like that. It's completely unacceptable stuff that I'd never have accepted any other year. But because of COVID and because of my poor recruitment in the summer, I have to stomach. And from there, and then what happens then when you're losing is anyone with a slight knock, if you're up there and you're in a league title race and the shirt means something, I guarantee they're playing. But all of a sudden, when you're not winning games of football, it's like, oh, I've got a little bit of a knock, probably want to sit this one out or whatnot. And it gets worse and worse. And when we went into that run of all these really difficult games, we played one game. We had over 11 players out. And literally my life outside of football suffered. I've done nothing but try and claw a team together, getting loans from here, there and everywhere. I'm very lucky to have been looked after by other managers at the level above, level below. They have literally deregistered players so I can play them, knowing that I'll deregister them back after they can have them back. Like, they've bailed me out. Without the other managers around me, I would have been done. I'm telling you as it is. Very, very lucky to have been looked after, as I have been. But there's your luck. I mean, Farnborough, Spencer at Farnborough, God bless him, he gives me 2 players on loan. They both go down in the warm-up. I'm just like, what's going on? And we're just...
No, Spencer, we knew that.
No, mate, do you know what? I've got nothing but good things to say about him, mate. He's very good to me. He really is. But I know, mate. But mate, it's been one of them. It's been one of them. And like I said, it's all my bad. And now I've been trying to rescue it. And we're lucky we had a 10-day break. And even a month ago, I could see this happening. And I thought, we're in trouble now. And we said, this 10-day break, our aim is to go and get a new team for then. So that's what we're going to do. And then it'll get rid of the loan players and whatnot. And actually, we've recruited I've got a guy in called Jamie who does our head of recruitment now. Got him from another club. He's been superb for me. He's really helped. Got 1 or 2 others now in and around it. They're helping. And we're starting to get players in that are here forever now. And I also felt where we have been doing well. We've got, obviously it's all spiraled downhill. We've got 1 or 2 boys that are technically superb players, but where things aren't going to plan, their motivation is not there. And because of it, they're not really giving their all. And they've filtered off one by one. Not bad players, not bad people, good friends that I care about very much and do very well in football, but just couldn't cope with the situation we were in. And now we've got a new group where it's far from over. We're still going to have as many bad results as good results. We're a month away still from being truly competitive. But Saturday was the first time we've had an 11 out that I thought we've got an 11 out and we've actually won. And today is the first Monday I've had in 7 weeks where I've been able to actually work on my business and my life and talking to friends and stuff. And I've not just been piecing together a team. We've actually got a team tomorrow that is the same as it was on Saturday, should I want. And that has been the biggest relief. So yeah, there we are.
So, I mean,
Well, that's Ashford.
No.
Wow.
Fair play to you,
Anyone
mate.
beat that?
I mean, that's just incredible, isn't it? I mean, it's just. But I mean, you've had that yourself, Keith, haven't you? Where you've gone into clubs as such like that. I'm not in the same sort of scenario, but you've been into clubs where you've had no one there and having to start from scratch.
Yeah, I did at VCD, Dave, just before the season started. Everyone knew in the Prem. They all left and went to Cray Wanderers, and we get aside, and it's difficult. It's fairly similar in one way what Luke is at the moment. At Winstable, I've got, I think we've got, if we looked at the list, about 5 players out injured. 3 of them have got ACLs. One just got announced last week again. that needs an op. And then we turn up Saturday at Chichester. I have the centre forward, the only centre forward we got, ring up, say he's ill, can't make it. 2 players come down in the car, stuck in a road accident with air ambulance, turn up 10 minutes before the kickoff. And it happens. It's football, you know, and you just got to try and get on with it. It's not that's what we're all here for. And sometimes you look back and laugh on it. I think Luke will once he gets in, once things start picking up. But it also makes you stronger.
Yeah,
it makes you stronger. And you know, you get to the stage where you know, you sit there and you panicking and you're worrying. And I think just a bit more experience, you sit and think, you know what happens. You keep your head. You believe in what you believe in as football. If you've got a great staff around you, which Luke says yes, and that's what pulls you through at the end of the day. You can't do it all yourself, and I think if you've got a good club and a club that can see you doing everything, then it's a big bonus.
Oh, chairman's a legend, mate. My chairman is an absolute legend. It's why talk about going other clubs and that, and like chairman pick managers, but managers need to pick their chairman as well. And like I said, when we had the success we had at Hartley, where we won those leagues and whatnot, the chairman and the group of people behind the scenes there are second to none. Like, it was a perfect storm with an unbelievable player group, a strong management team, and a fantastic club that backed us and good support. And I recognised that in Ashford as well. And like the chairman, literally the other day, called me up. Actually, it's usually a call of death, but I genuinely trust him. We go out, we just drink a lot together. We go out and we do all sorts together. And he's a ledge. But he's just like, tough. Look, we've had a bit of a mare. We'll be absolutely fine. If we're not, we'll win step 5 together, but we ain't going to go down. If you need a few more quid, I'll give you a few more quid, but you ain't going to need it, and we'll be all right. And it's just like, he's like last manager that took the club down. He took the club back up 3 years later. We stuck by him. We'll do the same with you. And I'm like, mate, you can't ask for any more. Like, what a good guy. And how much pressure does that take off you as, I wouldn't say I'm a young manager anymore. Obviously, I'm hurtling through my 30s now, but see, quite an inexperienced
Lee, he hasn't contacted
new
you
manager
just in case.
What big help? Can't ask.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gav's there like, oh, whoops.
In all fairness, I mean, we're talking
I
about,
did get a missed call on Friday before that Saturday, actually.
but in all fairness, we're talking about legendary people, and you know, did you just see that? An absolute legend just come in and gave Gavin a cup of coffee or a cup of tea. That's eh? So moving on to Bromsgrove, and then we'll get to the Mr. Superstar, Paul Davis, in a second. But I mean, Gavin, talk to us a little bit about Bromsgrove and Dave as well, and you know, tell us a little bit about the club and you know, expectations for the year. And I say you. Interim manager there. I mean, are we looking to try and make that a permanent thing, Gavin?
Well, all it is at the minute, the old manager, Bren, has obviously left the club a couple of weeks ago. And I just got a call from Ray Scott, the director, and just said, would you be interested in coming in to help and just be interim manager? Because previously that, a week before, I was assistant manager at Stourbridge in the same league. Which we obviously left there. So I was available in the sense of I wasn't attached to a club. I'm a local lad. I know the club, I know the area, I know the league in that sense. And it was meant a lot to me, to be honest with you. I mean, before Bromsgrove Sporting, it was Bromsgrove Rovers, where back in 2006 I went on loan, which really kick-started my career in the sense of I was at Kidderminster Harriers and I went out on loan for a month, played a few games and went back, and then the rest was history. I just played at their levels, but it meant a lot. I understand it was a footballing town, and when they asked me, I just jumped at the chance, to be honest with you. And it was just take each day, each training session, each match, day by day, just to make sure the lads are organised, and we're going to be ready for anyone we play. And I've now took charge of 3 games with Gray Scott, who's helped us as well, and a lot of the senior players. They've all bought into what we were saying in the sense of, we're all together, it's going to be organised. We don't know how long I'm going to be there, but as long as I am there, I'm going to be giving it my all. And we'll just give it a good go in that sense. I know quite a few of the players through playing with them and against them over the years, so it was quite an easy conversation to have. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. I do know there's been a lot of interest in the job, which it's going to be, because it's a massive club, massive fan base, massive following. So, and I just believe I'm fortunate just to be there at the minute, and for however long it is, so be it.
Yeah, just obviously, and I know you've touched on it, and I don't know if Dave wants to as well. Just for listeners, just listening, just say the history of obviously when it was Bromsgrove Rovers to obviously now becoming Bromsgrove Sporting, and what happened and what turned the club around.
That's a question for me, I believe. It's a long story. Shall I say from when Rovers were in the conference between 92 and 97, it sort of nosedived from there, really. Went into several different owners, went into administration 3 times, and it got to the stage where we thought this can't happen again. So I was one of them, one of the forefathers for Bromsgrove Sporting, who put a committee together to say, look, we've got to have football in the town. And we were fortunate to get the lease on the ground, and we couldn't call ourselves AFC Bromsgrove Rovers because technically Bromsgrove Rovers was still in existence, and ironically they wanted a ground share with us the first season, but that didn't materialise. And as I say, we've been going for 12 years as Bromsgrove Sporting, starting at step 8, and now we're applying our trade at step 3. So as they say, the proof's in the pudding, and it's been a good journey for us all, and long may it continue.
So I mean, with the actual job, then is a job sort of still there for people to apply for then, or is that down? Is it Gavin's now?
Well, applications closed last Friday. So ironically, we've had a little bit of a get together between 2 or 3 of the board today and started discussing it and trying to sift through the pluses and the minuses of everybody. Can't say too much at the moment because Gav sat in front of me. But,
I'm trying to get an answer, Gav, for you. I'm trying to get an answer.
Yeah, I know.
The thing is, it's been, I mean, the club have been brilliant, and like we said at the very start, I know the club, I know the guys who on the board who are fantastic, from Mike to Graham to Dave to there's a number of them, to be honest with you. And for me, it was just important that however long I'm there, I'll be professional, I'll apply myself, we'll make sure we're organised. And we've had 3 very good performances from the lads. I mean, just Ilkeston first game was like, it was tough because we only had training on the Thursday, and you're playing Ilkeston in the FA Trophy, you're a very strong side. And the lads performed, and it's all credit to the guys. And to be honest, the fans were disappointed over the season with a few losses that they've gone on, and they've come back and supported the boys tremendously. And Saturday's game at Nuneaton was special because it meant a lot to the boys, and they could say, we could hear them singing, and it was brilliant. So however long this is for, I've enjoyed it, and I'd like to think the club have seen that I can be professional, handle it at this level, and really apply myself in the right way. And the boys have been fantastic. So we'll see what happens next week.
David, I just want to fire another question back to you, and it's not obviously in one way about the manager's job, but when a manager leaves a club, sort of just from the other side of it, on a committee side, how does the sort of club react? The process, and also going forward when now you're looking at applicants, and obviously Gavin's done a great job so far, and for me naturally will be in the pole position because he's there and doing well, and if someone great comes along. But what are you looking for in a manager to go forward? Are you looking for someone that obviously can take the club through promotion, or is it just build foundations? What's the actual club looking for?
Well, I think you've probably answered all the questions there yourself, but we're looking for stability. We're looking to improve where our league position is at the moment. We'd like to think, whether it's this season or next season, that we'll be pushing for playoffs, stroke, or even more than that. I expect Paul might argue the case a little bit for his own team as well, of course, but there's some strong sides in that league, and we all say that every game in that league in that division is tough, very tough, and we're trying to set a stall out, I guess, for taking it forward that next step.
And you're right. When you do look at the clubs, obviously, you know, we look at the league table, Peterborough Sports that are sitting top, who obviously has had a couple of great FA Cup runs over the years.
Yeah.
You know, you've got obviously, like, we call them Leiston. They like to be called Leiston, that we know really well, Dave, as well as Lowestoft, that's massive. You know, you've got Needham Market that we all know from the Eastern League, but you know, like yourself, you've got AFC Rushden and Diamonds. That are big clubs, and you know, and you said Nuneaton and Borough. Now, there are some Hitchin that obviously are sitting sort of, down at the other end. So there are some massive clubs in that league.
Yeah, and even round ourselves, we've got obviously Stratford to the south of us, but Nuneaton, Tamworth, Hensford, you know, Alfchurch, Redditch, Stairbridge, Rushall. You know, there's so many big clubs around a very small area. I mean, we're all competing. Well, the managers are competing for a lot of the same players as well, and a lot of them do the rounds.
Well, you guys, though, you know, you saying that Paul's side, you know, quite, you know, closest to you guys. I mean, how envious were you of Paul over the weekend? Do you know what I mean? You know, on the TV and having a great run in the FA Cup, getting there, you know, and you know, unfortunate yesterday, but I mean, surely you guys have got to be looking there with a little bit of a green envy in the eyes.
Yeah, to an extent, but we had it on the red button in the round before against Grimsby, and we all know what sort of work goes into a game like that. It's not just what the 90 minutes on the pitch. You know, the effort that goes in from the time the draw's done, really, that has to be done and thought about, all the different things that you don't normally do from a normal game, shall I say, that when you're getting 600 or 700 people as we do, to then go to over 3,000, it's a lot of planning and a lot of know-how from various people. And you know, this is where the board comes together with all the skill sets that we all you know, we all got different skill sets, and I know what I went through personally, and you know, with all the admin side of it, which was, you know, it was 3 or 4-fold more than that you normally get. And of course, all the fans don't see that side of it, and I don't know whether you managers understand most of it either, but I'm sure you see some of it. I expect Jed's told Paul quite a bit of what went on, and I know a lot of the guys down at Stratford, and you know, we as secretaries, we all bounce off each other as well.
Paul does look tired tonight, doesn't he? He looks like he has been, you know, at a good weekend.
Yeah.
But
well, I mean, you're right. We'd have loved to have been in the first round and on the telly. There's no two ways about that. But as I say, we had that in the round before, which was a little bit of a disappointment on the pitch. But when you get hit with 3 goals in 12 minutes, it's game over.
But I mean, with that though, I mean, you say you had Grimsby, and that, I mean, how was you planning for that? I mean, that was, again, must have been a great, you know, a great day.
Yeah, we did. Yeah. And as I say, to have a 12:30 kickoff, which that sort of put a little bit more pressure on the day. But you know, from sort of thinking about your extra catering, your extra, well, we don't normally do tickets, you know, doing tickets. Then the cameras decided they're going to come in, and you've got all the infrastructure of putting that into place. It was massive, absolutely massive for us. Fortunately, we'd been in the FA Vars 16-17 and had a quarter-final against Buckland Athletic. We played Bristol Manor Farm and then played Cleethorpes in the semi-final. So we had 3,500 in the ground that day. But I think playing a game against what all intents and purposes is a league club is a different kettle of fish again. You know, with all due respect to the guys that are playing at step 5, then you know, then to play a game against a step 1 club is totally different. It is totally different, and I expect Paul will be able to say Shrewsbury again is that next level up, and you've got to do things above what you normally do.
Well, I mean, with that game now, I mean, if you go on a good cut run like you've done, and we'll ask Paul the same question in a minute, but how do you then sort of bring the players back down again, you know, after after that sort of run, to sort of concentrate back on the league. And if it does go a little bit, try and put this in the nicest way, if it goes a little bit sort of Pete Tong and you take, concede a few goals, I mean, does that then start affecting confidence as well?
Go on, Gav.
Just for me as a player and being within management, it's you've got to just enjoy the day and the occasion. Like, no one likes losing, obviously, but it happens, and if you can give it your all and your family are watching and you just got to enjoy the moments, because as a player I had times where I probably thought, oh, I'm going to get this again next season, and it never comes. So I just think if it was me speaking to those lads after that, you've held your heads up high. Do you know what I mean? You played well, you've given it your all. A lot of people are there to support you. And same with Stratford. I know the lads and I know Paul, and I think it's just an amazing achievement from the club, the town, and what they've done is just amazing, really, for non-league. And that was it. You roll again, you go. Now we're back into the season, and we try and climb that league. You soon forget about it. That's all you can really do. You're never ever going to win the FA Cup from a step 3 point of view, but you've got to take it and enjoy it, really. And I think these players have got to be proud of themselves against Grimsby, and also Stratford lads. They've got to be proud of themselves as well to get and achieve what they did.
So I mean, you've got Tamworth next.
Yep. So well, like Dave said, every game's tough in this league, to be honest. And we had Nuneaton Saturday, which where they are in the league's a false position. They're a strong outfit, to be fair. Nuneaton are, and then we've got Tamworth Tuesday. I know a lot of the players there, management, and they're a really, really good team, and they'll be up there looking for promotion. But we've just got to, again, play the way we have been playing, apply ourselves in the right application, and I think we'll do okay, hopefully, touch wood. But I'm going to be looking forward to going against them tomorrow night. But they're a really strong team.
I mean, what was that like? I mean, for you guys, when like this season where we've had, in the South Central Division 1, we've had the likes of my team, Harlow Town. You had Waltham Abbey, literally just down the road from me, Hertford Town, FC Romania, where all come over, and you've got those sort of new teams into your league. A few years ago, of course, it happened for you guys in this league where you had the likes of Needham Market come in, and you had the likes of Leiston, wherever you want to say it, come in. Yeah. How do you sort of then react to that when you've got new teams from the same level that haven't necessarily been promoted but just been put into your league? I mean, is that something you like because it freshens it up?
Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it, to be honest. But what it made centrally is, like Dave was saying, we've got probably 8, 9, 10 teams at Banbury as well, that with all within 45 minutes, an hour. So a lot of the same players, you get to know each other, and it's really, really competitive. And it was nice that it's a bit of a drive sometimes going to Lowestoft and stuff, but it's nice, and it's like Hitchin the other week. It's just nice to get on the coach, get down there, go up against teams that you wouldn't be going up against, and players, and meeting new people, new management staff and stuff, and really going at it. But I think when they centralised it, I think it probably went in the Midlands' favour more because of how many clubs are around that area. But it's definitely it's challenging, and like you say, you have to get out and watch games, and the teams like the Hitchins, the Lowestoffs, the Needham Markets, their catchment areas, they've got some really good players, and it's Peterborough Sports is another one, obviously, and it's testing, but I think it's really, really good, a really good challenge every week in this league, to be honest.
To answer your question though, Dave, when we got to step 3, our league makeup hasn't changed.
Right.
We're about the only one that hasn't.
Yeah.
All we've done is lost Kings Langley this year, so the rest has stayed the same. But like Gavin says, those 3 trips out to East Anglia are a little bit of a trek, to say the least.
So where's the circumference of the league then? Where from? What's the furthest one away? If you had a game in your league, what would be the worst one?
Lowestoft.
So Lowestoft's the worst one for you.
Yeah. Bear in mind they have to do it every other week.
Yeah.
Because they've got to come to the Midlands, and as Gavin said, 45 minutes away, there's 10 teams, so they have to do that virtually every other week.
I think they're used to it now, Keith, aren't they? When they got dumped in the wrong league when they went up into the national, was it the national? They went up to
North.
Yeah, they got put into the
no,
national north and ended up travelling miles and miles and miles every single week, which was.
Oh, you talk about doing miles and miles. I mean, the trophy on Saturday, we've got Morpeth coming to us, 30 miles north of Newcastle. So you get to the first round in the trophy, and it just goes north and south. So
I suppose the question there then, Gavin, is that has the chairman been on to you and said, look, if it's 1-1 with a few minutes to go, make sure that you give them a penalty or something sort of line, so we ain't got to go there on a Tuesday night.
There's no replay.
No, of course there isn't. No, there isn't. No.
Straight to penalties.
Yeah. But do people say that though still? If that was an FA Cup game, would you get people say that sort of stuff? We don't want to travel all the way out there.
No, not at all. No. I think, like you say, you're out to win it, and if it's a draw, it's a draw. You go up and go with it again Tuesday night. That's football. That's what we're in it for. So, yeah, I don't stay in that anyway.
Well, I know the manager at the club that I do stuff for at Harlow. He's looking to keep getting through in the League Cup draw, which I've been told I think might be Thursday or Friday this week. He's having it regionalised, and he gets Truro away.
Yeah, because again, that will be north and south, Dave. So
it still will be north and south.
Yeah, to an extent, anyway.
Yeah, but I mean that would be the trip. I think that'd be the one. But I mean. I know going back to Luke, he's got a great trip coming up. I think after Christmas, they're going to go to Keith's favourite venue. He's going to Guernsey. So,
very nice.
We're playing over to Guernsey, so he'll be enjoying that one. So that's quite a journey. But if we just move down to the gentleman that's been sort of like, I don't know, super famous now because, he's been on, was it the ITV or BBC over the weekend? I don't know which one it was now, but talk us through the whole sort of scenario, Paul. I mean, of when you actually got the draw to when you realised that you were going to be on the telly.
Well, we played Boston in the fourth qualifying round away at Boston, who hadn't lost there since the opening day of the season. So one of the toughest draws we probably could have got. And similar to the trophy, it was north and south, and it was live on Talk Sport. So when the teams were being pulled out, you're like, yeah, we'll have them. Oh no, we don't really want them. And when Boston came out, it was, well, we don't really want to go there. Stratford Town, oh, cheers. So we planned and prepared, and we've got some real local clubs around us that were good as gold, to be honest. Leamington had played them the week before, and they gave us a really in-depth scouting report. They sent us the whole game. And then Marcus Bignot used to work with me, Chairman Jed at Solihull. So he managed to send us the whole game from Guiseley game. So we got enough information on Boston, and we felt we could go there and try and take the game deep. I never ever did. I think we would win there. But just listening to Lee earlier talk about the Evesham fans travelling to Bideford, we had 47 fans travel to Boston. And it's really important that the players go over and thank every single one of them individually. I know Bromsgrove get a lot of fans, and they're very, very good at clapping their supporters after games. But when fans travel away from home, they spend good money, because I think it was the first time Stratford had ever taken a supporters coach to a game. So it was quite a big day for everybody. But that was also a record-breaking day for Stratford. Everyone says about making history yesterday, but to get to the fourth qualifying round was the furthest the club had ever been. They had a player sent off with about 15 minutes to go, and about 5 or 6 of my players were saying, "Gaff, can we have a go? Can we have a go?" I said, "No, it's still 1-1 at the time." I said, "No, just stay in the game." They were chucking strikers on to try and win the game, so it was just getting back to our place, because their away form wasn't as good as their home form. I think since we played them, I think they've only lost once, so probably give them a bit of a kick at the backside. But we took them back to our place on the Tuesday night, like just talking about Morpeth coming to Bromsgrove, like Boston to Stratford, obviously not as far, but it's still 2.5 hours on a Tuesday night, which wouldn't have been easy. And we go 2-0 up. We stuck to the same game plan. We were 2-0 up, and it's most comfortable I felt in a game of football watching us. we felt we dealt with their threats and everything. And a bit like Luke said earlier, everything that goes against you does go against you. 10 minutes later, we're 2-2. So it was a bit of a nerve-wracking day. And I thought at that time we were sort of setting up for extra time and possibly penalties. And I brought a lad on called Will Dawes, who sometimes plays for us, sometimes doesn't. And he managed to score a volley, and we hung on at the end. My goalkeeper made a world-class save in the last minute. So, but the draw was done in between those two games. So we had a lot of people, a lot of media ring on the Monday and say, what do you think? Shrewsbury then at home? So, well, we've got to beat Boston first. And, they play in the National North, and they'd have expectations of finishing in the playoffs. So that was our full attention, really. When I got to the game, the Boston game on the Tuesday night, my chairman came to me at 6:30 and said, "Oh, by the way, just to let you know, the next round's on the telly." And you know him, Dave, don't you? So you can imagine how he said it. And you know him as well, Gav. So he I said, "What do you mean the next game's on the telly?" He said, "Well, whoever wins is on a telly against Shrewsbury. So
Pressure,
if
Paul,
you lose,
no
I'm going to kill you." So, I felt a duty to tell the players, not as an extra motivation because they already wanted to do it, but I felt they knew. I felt they needed to know. So we knew at that point before the game that whoever won was going to be on the television, live on ITV, and that the rest is history, really. Sort of the whole experience of the weekend. We trained on Saturday. We stayed in a hotel Saturday night, mainly for traffic reasons, because Stratford's quite a tourist attraction anyway. So to get 3,000 people in and out of Stratford Town Football Club has never, ever happened before. So we stayed in a hotel locally and arrived at the game in plenty of time yesterday. The ITV people had said they'd set the whole weekend up, the whole ground and everything up for what they would do at any FA Cup game. So they'll do the same at the final and things like that. And to echo what Dave said, to go on the red button, I can assure you as managers, well, definitely I got told anyway about 5 times a day from Jed how much work everyone's doing. And you can see the cable arrive, you can see the scaffolding arrive. We've actually extended a part of the ground so we could house the away supporters. So it was a great experience, and it's important that the lads recognise what they've done. However, we play Hensford tomorrow night, and a bit like Gav said earlier, you have to switch back onto league action. We've only got a day's rest to do it. So the last time when we played Boston, we went to Hitchin and won 1-0, and we were terrible. So hopefully we're a little bit better tomorrow.
So with that though, I mean, two sort of questions with that. I mean, how do you keep to get them switched back on for tomorrow night? Would you have liked that game to have been moved just to give you a bit more rest period from your FA Cup game?
So we had a bit of a huddle on the pitch after the game about we must continue the performances we've had in the FA Cup into the league, and it's really easy for people to say it. It's another thing for people to actually do it. So we said it after Boston, and we won once. We lost in the trophy and we lost in the league. So you just have to, like a bit like Gav said, really, you end up in 2 weeks' time. We'd have played 4 more games, and everyone would have forgotten about Shrewsbury. So it will live in the memories, but you've got to switch on as quick as you can, and we'll prepare like for Hensford as we would do with anyone. In terms of moving the game, we're actually supposed to be playing at home, and we can't play at home because ITV are coming in and take all the scaffolding down. So we told the Southern League that we can't play at home, and there's actually a rule that says both teams need to agree. If I'm right, Dave, both teams need to agree to switch a fixture. Well, we haven't agreed to switch the fixture, but the league have said you're playing. So I was speaking to Steve Cottrell yesterday, because their game got moved to the Sunday. The Football League moved their game to the Wednesday to play Wigan, but the Southern League won't move our game to the Wednesday because Hensford say no. So
we've all gone quiet.
Yeah.
Very quiet.
And I'm sure if I was in Hensford's position, what do you think, Gav? Would you say no if you were playing us tomorrow night? You wouldn't want to move it to Wednesday neither, would you? So I can't blame Keenan for that.
Be a tough one. It'd be a tough one.
I'd say though, Paul, I'm not sure because I think, and Dave might know this, but obviously leagues try and help you out with the FA Cup before the game. But this is where I think they do forget about, well, what about after as well, especially because your game was moved to a Sunday. I can still see Saturday, the Tuesday, but I don't know. I don't know what Luke and Leonard think, but if it was me, unless it was, especially at this time of the season, I would try and help you out because of what you've done for the league as well, even if I'm the opposing manager. And I know a day, I think that's what everyone needs to stick together with things like that.
Yeah, the week leading up to the FA Cup, we were actually due to play Alvechurch on a Tuesday night. And we lost to Royston in the trophy on the Saturday, and they lost to Chasetown. And we asked the league to postpone the Alvechurch game so we could have a bit more preparation time for the FA Cup. And they said no. But Alvechurch said, let's move it to the 13th. So we're actually playing Alvechurch on the Saturday. So I'm thanking Ian Long and Richard Thorndyke for that, because they offered to move the game so we could train 3 times in preparation for it. But I look at all the top class managers and the Premier League managers would say, well, what would they say playing Sunday to Tuesday? They talk about the injuries and things. You see managers all the time moaning Saturday to Wednesday or Sunday to Wednesday. So I know in non-league we do it all the time, but how many times do people go Sunday, Tuesday? I know there's a couple of teams playing tonight, like Hitchin and Stourbridge, both play on Monday nights. They play Saturday to Monday, but they're prepared for that already. That's their choice to play at home on a Monday. So because we're now playing away, our next 5 fixtures, we play once at home.
Yeah, I've just looked at that, yeah.
And I was actually having that same conversation, Keith.
On nights and Monday as well. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, I mean, but I was actually doing a conversation during the week. I run a sort of a YouTube channel for the local sides around the area around here, and we were having a look at their fixtures, and a lot of them have got like 4 or 5 games away from home in quick succession as well. They had like 1 at home here, and then 4 away, and then 1 at home, and it was a really weird scenario when you looked at all of their fixtures. And a couple of them are in the Southern League, a couple of them are in the Isthmian League, but it was, when you actually looked at their fixtures, they were almost exactly the same, where they had a big run of away games, and then like the odd home game, and then a big run of away games.
Listen, Dave, that will happen with FA Trophy, etc. If teams obviously you're out and you rearrange fixtures, that happens. And then it can go the other way. I don't think that's the issue. Obviously, for me, just listening to Paul, the Hendersford one, I'd have just told my secretary that we're not moving, we play at home. And then obviously you can't because of ITV's there, and then left it up to the league to sort out. But I'm pretty sure the Eastern League, as much as you might fault them, Dave, would have backed us on that one as well.
But I mean, Shrewsbury though. I mean, I saw that was it? If I'm right in saying that Lincoln with Bowers, have said that take the money. I mean, how often does that happen with a team like Shrewsbury that might turn around to you and say, look, we ain't going to go halves and halves. You're the non-league club. You need it more than us. Does that happen a lot?
Yeah, I think the Bowers one is because if it would have been at Bowers and Pitsea, I think they'd have probably been a telly game.
Yeah.
But because it was at Lincoln, that they decided to not put it on the telly, where because we were a telly game, the home side get the television money.
Right. Okay.
So I think you still split the gates. You have to give 100 tickets to the FA, etc., etc. But the game in isolation, we felt we had a good game plan. And for anyone that watched the game, I thought we were more than held our own for the first 50 minutes. And then I've watched the game back last night when I got in at midnight and watched it till 2:30 this morning. So I felt after each goal in the second half, we still had a bit of a go. Even the second, the third and the fourth goal, we still had a bit of a go. So full credit must go to the lads who were brilliant.
And as I said, and let's be honest, if you see anybody did see the game, at least 2 of their goals, maybe 3 of their goals were absolute pearlers as well, weren't they? They weren't sort of tap-ins either, were they? They were, it's really sort of quality goals that if it would have been scored by, you know, a team higher up in the echelon, you'd be showing them for quite a period of time on the TV.
Yeah, we talked in a week about not giving goals, because when you play against a team like that, or 4 leagues above you, 2 leagues above you, 1 league above you, you don't really want to give goals away. So we made them earn their goals. And when you look back at it, the 2 crosses are disappointing because we wanted to stop them scoring from crosses. We want to stop crosses coming in the box. But, you know, the 2 worldies you're on about, sometimes you have to hold your hands up.
I saw your interview afterwards, and you said exactly that, didn't you? On there, that you got a game plan, etc., etc. But I mean, you know, after the game, I mean, you know, what was the feeling like in the dressing room afterwards? Was it disappointment, or was it sort of excitement because of still, you know, fully excited for what had just happened?
Yeah, I think there was a bit of sort of realization of, you know, you're now out of the competition. You've enjoyed the run, you've enjoyed the day. You know, everyone had their families there. That was important. I think Gav said earlier about you think it's going to happen every year, and I've been in non-league football a long time, and you realise that actually they don't come around very often at all. You know, not even every other year. Sometimes not once in 10 years. So I've got some really experienced players in my dressing room that have never played in the first round before. So it doesn't come around that often, and those players that had played in the first round before might not have played on the telly. So the mood in the dressing room was one of well done. You know, you've done well. You've not disgraced yourselves today. You've done the club proud. The football club's had a good day, but we play again in 48 hours. So go and enjoy tonight and have the next 2 days off work, and I'll see you at Hensford.
Just with that, Paul, you know, obvious question people ask you, and you must, you know, got at it all yesterday, but just with the size of your club and the FA Cup run you've had and the money, what is that going to do to your football club, the finances you receive?
I think Jed's having an extension. No, just from the cup run this year, if I'm honest, I don't know how much money we've made. Obviously, there's the prize money's public, like everyone knows how much prize money you get. I think we've made about £25,000 in prize money. We played Nuneaton at home, which is obviously a big game, big gate. We played Long Eaton at home to make history, so it was a reasonable gate there. We then played Boston away in front of 1,800 people. We played Boston at home in front of 1,300 people. So there's some good gates there. And then we had 3,000 people there yesterday. So I don't know, if we made £100,000, I can imagine that would see the club at least next year through the budget anyway, through the playing budget. But there's been a lot of developments at the football club that people have already put their money in. So we've got a brand new 3G pitch down that's been relayed. The ground's been extended. Like I said, that obviously cost money to house yesterday. The hospitality sector's gone off. I think the main thing that's happened over this weekend is we've brought more sponsors into the football club, because Stratford-upon-Avon is not known for football. So, you know, the local businesses, it's been hard to get them to sponsor the football club, but now hopefully we've got some more sponsors and hopefully we can get some more supporters through the gate.
Is that a situation? Was it a little bit like, you know, walking through Stratford? Was there a lot of the flags out, and a bit like we saw with Sudbury that we know very well? You know, where I think they even taken the flag down off the top of the church and replaced it with a Afc Sudbury flag for the first time. That the flag had ever been changed. Was there a lot of that? Was there a lot of camaraderie in the town?
Yeah, we stayed in a hotel the other side, so I didn't actually drive through the town, but driving into the ground at 12:30 yesterday, there must have been 50, 60 supporters walking up the road at 12:30, which you see at some clubs in our league. You'll see it at Tamworth, you'll see it at Bromsgrove, you see it at Nuneaton. You don't see it at Stratford. You don't see it at Stratford. Like, I call for the fans to be there early to try and build an atmosphere, and we had a fan zone out the back, and there was 1,000 people in there at 2:00. So, you know, it did take over. They've changed the colours in the last couple of years to orange and blue. And that Chris, who was going to come on tonight, but unfortunately he's got other engagements. he runs the club shop and the supporters association. They sold out of beanies and scarves yesterday. So, and I know there was a couple of thousand of those at the beginning of the week. So, you know, that's the sort of thing that hopefully we can put into the younger generation in Stratford. We were talking about it yesterday after the game. It's sometimes you get old supporters or older supporters come in and then they don't do the travels, and the younger supporters, you need them in because, you know, they create the atmospheres, don't they?
Is there any downside to a cup run like that? In way of sort of like especially if you're on the TV where your sort of star players are now on the TV, and maybe people from step 3, maybe step 2 get to see them, or even higher get to see your players, you know, what they can do. Is there any of that sort of nervousness as well, that you might get a phone call or something like that as well to try and lose some of your star players because of that sort of scenario?
Yeah, I mean, the only negative right now is we played 11 league games and some people have played 15. Like, there's 4 teams playing tonight, and after they've played tonight, they'd have played 16 league games. So we got to play Saturday, Tuesday until Christmas. And then after Christmas, I think we played once on a Tuesday night. So it's sort of quite heavy at the top end of the fixtures. But we've, similar to what Luke said earlier on, 3 years ago, we finished in the playoffs and lost at Kings Lynn. And I knew our whole squad was just going to disappear because they weren't on much money. And like Dave said earlier, there's a lot of clubs in and around the Midlands, and people do the rounds for an extra 20 quid, the players. And there are teams with bigger budgets than Stratford, and we lost that whole team. And we really struggled for that middle season, but we managed to recruit most or some of them back last season and keep them this season. And I said to the players, I don't want people to go anywhere. I had a long conversation with the board, and the only way you can stop players moving in and around the Midlands in our league is by putting them on contract. So we've got about a dozen players on contract. So that wasn't actually in my mind at all. And if someone put themselves in the shop window yesterday and a Football League club or a Conference Prem club were going to come and sign them, then I'd shake the hand and drive them there, because that's what's best for them.
Is there a way though? Is anybody? I mean, with people losing players like that, you know, and yes, it could be fantastic because they're moving to a higher level, or they could go sideways. Do you think there's anything that anybody can put in FA wise that could ease that issue for clubs like yourself, Paul, or Bromsgrove, or for, you know, Ashford or Evesham, or even Winstable Town? But there could be some kind of an idea that could be help you keep your players rather than sort of losing them for that extra 20 quid.
Yeah, well, there's a couple of rules in there. You can only take one player every 28 days. So, like, Lee's just moved, can't go back to Slimbridge and get 5 lads. Like, you got to wait 28 days unless they agree to take them. You've obviously got the 7-day rule to try and convince your player to stay. And once you go in for a player, you can't go back in for them in the same season if they're still at the same club. So I'm not, off the top of my head, I'm not sure there's too much you can really do, other than have your transfer window the whole way through the pyramid. But I don't know how that would work, because players that are free agents can still move. Can they not move? You know, I think that would be a bit of a shake up, and how far down you go. I know the sin bin rule stops at step 5. How far do you take stuff like the transfer window? It's difficult.
Anybody else?
Yeah,
I think that works pretty well, just like Paul said, really. I think, what can you do? What can you do? In the main, Paul, I know the lads who really want to play for him, and then the couple of lads who want to go for an extra 20, 30 quid. And that's probably the lads he hasn't got, you know. So we probably all know what we're dealing with, which is you don't want them lads, really, to be fair.
Literally, I was going to say, you don't want people who don't want to be there.
No, exactly. Yeah. We're you know.
Dave, it can work the other way though, mate, because you can have a lot of people watching what Paul's done at clubs around him thinking, do you know what? I want to be part of that team spirit. I want to go there. So what do you do then? So you could be the other man, you could be Gavin sitting there thinking, oh God, a couple of my players now might want to go there to Stratford because look at what they're doing. Look what a great cup run they've got. So I don't think as managers you sit there and worry about that. Obviously the 7-day rule, then the 28-day rule does give you some sort of, security. And obviously then
Clarity and
contracts,
security,
you want to put
definitely.
players on contracts as well.
I must admit,
Yeah.
I mean, I knew about most of the rules that Paul just said there. The one I didn't know was that if a manager, if I'm right in what you just said, was if a manager like Lee's gone into Evesham, he can't take no players from his other squad for 28 days.
It's 28 days.
7
It's one
days
every
first.
28 days, basically. Yeah.
It's 7 days first, Dave.
Right.
7 days first. You put a 7-day approach in. You have to wait 7 days. You can sign him. Then it's 28 days after that. 28 days after that. But you've got them 28 days to sign that player. If he doesn't sign, you can't go back in for him in the current season.
No.
That's correct.
Sorry, Dave, I was waiting for you. I thought you was going to. Is that what you was going to say?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
So I mean, with that though, I mean, League Cup wise, I mean, I think someone said, I'm sure I saw Jason post that it was going to be Thursday, Friday this week. I mean, is everybody still in the League Cup?
Yeah, we are.
Yep, we are.
Yeah, Evesham.
Evesham,
They're not in.
Evesham, and Slimbridge got beat by Western 2-1 last week.
Every time we mention Slimbridge, you keep laughing. So everyone wants to know why is he laughing every time. I'm getting messages saying, why does he keep laughing all the time? But with that as well, and obviously yourself going with the League Cup after the FA Cup, is that a sort of tournament, a competition you would take seriously?
Well, so 3 years ago when I first joined, we actually won the League Cup. We beat Cinderford in the final 1-0. It gets the problem with the League Cup.
Paul Michael, that was Paul, was it?
Say again?
Paul Michael in charge then?
Yeah.
The Welsh guy, yeah. He was at Yate now.
Yeah. So they were good as well, by the way.
Yeah, good. Bop it. They do play.
Yeah. The issue with the League Cup has always been gets to the end of the season and it just gets crammed in.
Yeah.
And when teams are left in it, like you mentioned Truro earlier, teams like if Lowestoft was still in it, we played Lowestoft in the semi-final. It had come to us on a Tuesday night. So you end up then losing teams and say, don't really want to stay in that. And it becomes watered down competition. Unfortunately, we went out at Cirencester actually really early on. We played a good team. They were better than us on a night and they beat us. So we haven't got that. We've only got the league to worry about now.
I mean, with the League Cup though, and your county cups, I've always been baffled by this, and not being sort of a manager, I've probably got a different view of it from a fan side of it. But when people have said, I've heard people say tonight, well, we're not going to win the FA Cup. Maybe up until last year, people would say, well, we ain't going to win the FA Trophy. So if we can win the League Cup and we can win the county cups, why do managers go into it and then put in, after the reserves or after the players that don't play on a normal basis? Why do they not actually still go into it with their strongest team?
I just think it's the amount of games. I think it's the amount of games,
isn't it?
And it's early on as well, and because the league's now over another league. You've got a couple more leagues in there because of the feeders and stuff. It's the amount of games early on. I think there's also an element of the further you go, there's no guarantee, because early on it's regionalised. There's no guarantee of how close you can travel. But like I said, we played a strong team at Cirencester and they were just better than us on the night. What people don't realise, actually, the League Cup, you get prize money. So it's not just
that's just started this year, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not just another game. So it was important for us. I wouldn't say we played the strongest team when we won it all the way through, but a bit like the Prem teams do in the League Cup, they play weakened teams and then they get further on and they start to go, actually, we could win this. So they start to play their strongest team.
Also, Dave, it's you don't get much chance to look at some of the either, like you said, either your reserves or your young lads in a senior competitive game. And other clubs do it, so you can watch them in their own leagues or you can watch them in a pre-season game, but you can basically see how they adapt one under your sort of command, but also playing with other senior players or against better players. And that's where you get a good judgment from. So that's why I think every club does it all the way up to the Premiership, is because that is at the first few rounds you can sort of see who, you know, especially your county cup as well. Are they good enough to play in your team if needed?
Well, I've been quite surprised this year. So we've got through 2 rounds of it so far, the League Cup, and sneaked it on Tuesday night, and sneak being the word, I think, Tuesday night. You know, but both games so far that Danny Chapman's actually played quite a full strength side, if not a full strength side, which is unusual. Which is just why I was asking the question. You know, if that's
well for me, David, as you know, I'm in the County Cup final this month from the COVID, and we've got Dartford at Dartford, and it's massive for my club. You know, they're running support coaches. You know, it's massive for the club because, like you said, it's a bit of silverware. You know, for Dartford, I know Dartford well. I doubt it would, but they will put their full side out against us. But it also, once you get to that stage, any silverware is huge.
And for me, I mean, we were in the League Cup last week, weren't we, Dave? And we looked at it as the lads had not won in 5 games. We then just won our first game against Ilkeston on Saturday, which the confidence, the lads were buzzing. I just felt if we can carry that winning streak and winning mentality, we play a strong strength team on Tuesday. And we did. We won 2-0 again. So then it's suddenly gone from not winning in 5 to winning 2 games on the bounce with 2 clean sheets. And it just breeds a little bit of confidence. So it can work both ways. I do believe in giving the younger guys a chance and having a good look at them to see what your squad's like and if they can deal with playing against better opposition. But I do think also if you're not going through a good time and you get a League Cup game and you win, it can then just kickstart maybe a bit of a winning streak sort of thing. So that was what I was thinking.
I mean, Paul said there though about, you know, the League Cup, and we have to cram it in, and then, you know, it's difficult to get full strength. What would be the perfect scenario for you managers with the League Cups, if that's in the Isthmian League Cup, if it's a Southern League Cup? What would be your ideal, you know, solution so that teams possibly could take it more seriously? Is that cramming it all in at the beginning of the season? Is that waiting until after Christmas? I mean, what would be the best scenario for you guys to think more people might take it a bit more seriously?
Yeah, I think when I mean cram it in, like the final at the start of the season is meant to be 2 legs. I can't remember the last time the final was 2 legs. So that's what I mean by cram it in. It just becomes a bit rushed. The semi-finals meant to be 2 legs, and maybe after Christmas, maybe a better idea, or just let the secretary sort it out. So draw it and don't have a deadline date on it, or have a longer deadline date on it, because it prioritises sometimes over league fixtures. And the secretary just says, "Oh yeah, straight away you got to play this game next week," and you're not prepared for it.
I think, Dave, it's a catch-22. The ones that are like, you know, the Isthmian one's been drawn. It's on a knockout basis this year, thank God. You know, we used to have the league basis for the reasons teams, you know, people did play the youngsters. But people say before Christmas, you've got the FA Cup, you play most of your midweek games, and it's crammed in. And they say, we'll put it after Christmas. And then the argument to some of the people after Christmas is, well, if we're in the top 6 or 7, and we've got the chance of a playoff and promotion, I'm not going to put a full side out in it anyway. So I think it's a little bit of catch-22 situation. It depends where you are in the league, and depends on, obviously, you know, how many midweek games you've got, which after Christmas, unless you've got a lot of postponements, which I think some leagues have a lot more than others, and I think the Southern League is maybe one of them, with the weather down in, you know, with floods, etc. They're caught, really.
I think it would help as well if it was regionalised the whole way through to the final, because especially in the Southern, when we were in the Southern, we had, I went and watched another Southern League game, and the winners of it had Merthyr away, and both teams were doing their absolute best to lose. They were like, oh my God. Like they saw the other team had gone weak as well, and they're like, no, what are you doing to me? Like, our youth team is worse than yours, please. They're not the one, mate.
But am I right in saying you were talking there, Keith, about playoffs and other stuff? Dave, you might be, as a secretary, might be more in the know than me. But I mean, they've now changed. Have the FA now changed what relegation is going to be for this season?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's from the Premier Division. I think we're losing the bottom 4 from each division, and from the Division 1s, it's the bottom 4. But then it depends on who's in the promotion places from Step 5. So I think that technically, although he could be losing 16, they're actually losing 9.
Yeah, I think
Dave,
what it is. Obviously, Dave knows quite a bit. Yeah, if you finish 4th from bottom there in Step 4 this year, you will get a reprieve, and I think 6 clubs who finish 3rd from bottom will have to play the teams that finish 2nd in a playoff, and then I thought from Step 3, 2 teams are relegated and 1 goes in a playoff. Maybe wrong, but
that isn't how I understand it. But
I mean, it's one of those sort of things, isn't it? That, you know, if you've got rules at the beginning of the season, you stick by them, don't you? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not changing it sort of like a quarter of the way into the season. All of a sudden, now it's a completely different kettle of fish.
Yeah, and they're also trying to make up the deficiencies as well, because there's a few divisions where they're not full quota. So like the Division 1, like the Premier Division Central that we're in, we're a team light. Hence why there's still some debate about 3 going down or 4 going down.
We're talking about
what you're saying about changing rules. What you want about? What, curtailing seasons and doing points for games and things like that? You mean? No, they've never done that before. Not in the last 2 years. Don't be stupid.
Yeah, let's not go there. Let's not go there. We ain't got time. We ain't got time. Time's up. But in all fairness, before we do go, I think it's only right for us to say, you know, as a programme, and especially as there's 2 teams in Needham's league that everybody wishes, is it Brian Lawrence all the very, very best after a really severe injury at the weekend. And if you do go into the Needham Market Twitter page, they have got a Just Giving page there for Brian on there. So if you did feel that you wanted to do anything for him, there is a Just Giving page on there. But say a horrific injury for the young man, and hope he recovers and gets back playing as soon as possible. But the time has flown by, and a massive thank you to our completely brand new friends as well from the Summer League. We've got, of course, Lee, and we wish him all the very, very best at Evesham. And we'll be looking out for that game just after January. We might get you back on just to see how it goes. Of course, to Luke as well at Ashford, and we wish you all the very best there. And also, of course, to Gavin as well, mate. And listen, mate, I hope he gives you the job.
Thank you.
We'll keep looking at that. And also to Dave as well. And of course,
you're going to give it him then, Dave, or what? What's going on?
And then also
Managers Union, yeah.
I'm outnumbered.
And of course, also to the man that everybody's seen on the TV, and a fantastic run for you, Sarah. And we, you know, everybody in the Southern League is proud of what you've done for the Southern League and for non-league football in your run in the FA Cup. And of course, to Paul Davis and everybody at Stratford, we wish you all the very, very best for the season as well. Me and Keith will be back next week, and hopefully we'll have Chris Moore with us next week, the Handball Town manager, and hopefully Steve O'Boyle, the new manager from Phoenix Sports, will also be with us next week. But from everybody watching, thank you for watching. Thank you guys for being with us tonight, and we'll see you again next week. Good night.